Good afternoon, Jack. I said to Tuchman that if you didn't came in a suit, then probably this is not a dramatic press conference. So I guess we all trying to understand why today you decided to speak.
I don't fit in my suits anymore, so that's the main reason. No, look, as we know, because of the situation over the last, few years, it's been more difficult to come. So we just thought it would be an opportunity to give you an opportunity to ask Barak and myself, questions that you may have of, what's happened, what's happening, and just have a discussion. There's certainly no specific reason for it. We thought it would be a nice thing to do, and there's nothing more than that. Yeah, no other agenda.
So I will start with asking about if you can explain us the decision that was taken in the summer, and maybe explain to the people who don't really understand outside what it means that Sharon Tamam is the CEO, what it means that Barak is head of football operation. What do you saw, and Mitch, what did you saw when you made those decisions?
Sure. I think, some explanation was given also in the past by Mitch, but in simple terms, Sharon has been in the organization for many years, and she came with a specific role, a specific request to do certain things in the club, and I worked with her when I was here for many, many years. Even when I left, I kept in touch with her. And as we try and do as an organization, we try and do it, is develop our own people so that they are aligned with the way we're thinking, the way that we do things. And we felt that the time was right for Sharon to move up and to take the role of CEO, meaning that she is in charge of operating the club, the business, making sure that we are following the necessary obligations, regulations that exist, and that we improve as a club as a whole. The club is not just one thing, it's many, many different parts. And we try again that we always try and raise the bar so that we can achieve something better. We learn from our mistakes, we try and learn from our mistakes. And again, we felt that she's the right person, and we're happy with our choice. With Barak, again, it's a similar situation. We've known him for many years as a player. We've gone through a lot together. Again, a decision was made that this person, Barak, is able and capable and has not only the knowledge, but the desire, the wish to develop himself to grow into this role. And he started in a way, as I can say, like an intern, especially during Ben's time when he was here, where he was exposed to a lot of different people and foreign experts, let's say, also. But the process is ongoing. It's still a development, as we all are. We're always developing, I think, in our jobs. And so we felt, again, the time was right for him to step up and to be in this position. And again, we're happy with our decision.
Hi, Jack. We sat exactly last Wednesday on the press conference of PSV with Eran Zahavi, and I asked him if he knows where he will play next year, and he said no, he said that he doesn't know. Can we say that it's more the decision of Eran? If he wants to come back to Israel, he will be in Maccabi Tel Aviv next year?
Some of the answer I will give you is that it's the answer that we always give, and it's not to be difficult. When we have announcements to make about decisions inside the club, we will make them public, at the time that it's right. For me, it's a decision that will be made mutually. If it's felt that the club, wants Iran to come back, which I can answer that question also, and in Iran wants to come back, then we will come to an arrangement. I think this is a situation where it's going to be a mutual agreement. It will be a decision from both sides.
You were close to speak open about it.
I'm always open. I'm always open. Whoa.
Jack, I want to ask you about the coach Krstajic. I think everyone said that he's doing a really good job in Maccabi Tel Aviv since he came, and the team is looking a lot better. And the question is for you and for Barak, of course, when are you going to take the decision if he is the coach for the next 2 years or not?
Yeah. So we have an agreement with the coach, which we made, which I believe we are both happy with this agreement, which clearly states that the decision will be made towards the end of the season, and we will stick with this arrangement. That the coach knows the situation very clearly, and our focus now really is on the season now.
But what do you think about this job? How do you see it?
Yeah, I'll let Barak has a voice also. My view is that we are going in the right direction, and we're going in the right direction because really there's a lot of hard work and focus from the coach, from his coaching staff, from the people around the coaching staff. It's never down to one individual, but certainly we feel we're going in the right direction. And our focus really, it's not a cliche. We will focus on each game in front of us. We will take it very seriously, and that's our view at the moment.
לא, כי תומר שאל גם מה אתה חושב על המאמן.
כן, תראה, סך הכל ג'ק העביר את זה בצורה מאוד מאוד ברורה. כמו שג'ק אמר, השיחות שלנו עם המאמן לפני שהוא חתם היו מאוד מאוד ברורות לגבי החוזה, ואנחנו נחכה לסיום העונה ונחליט. זה כמובן החלטה של שני הצדדים. כמובן אם הכל ילך כמו שצריך, נקבל את ההחלטה.
כן, אבל אתה נמצא ביום-יום, אתה רואה את השיפור בקבוצה, אתה רואה את השיפור בקבוצה, אתה רואה את העבודה שלו ברמה היומיומית. כולנו רואים את השיפור, אתה יודע, זה בוודאי נותן לו כמה נקודות זכות, ואיך אתה באמת רואה את העבודה מולו?
אין ספק שיש שיפור, ורואים את זה גם לפי תוצאות. וזאת הייתה המטרה. בסופו של דבר החתמנו מאמן כדי שנשחק יותר טוב. בטח לא ציפינו שנפתח את העונה בצורה כזאת, ואנחנו לא שמחים על זה שפתחנו את העונה בצורה לא טובה, וכרגע התוצאות הן טובות יותר, ונקווה שזה ימשיך ככה עד סוף העונה ונמשיך להשתפר, ובינתיים זה נראה טוב.
I will come back to Jack for a question. You came with Mitch almost 13 years ago, and Mitch is not a person that was afraid to fire coaches or fire people in main positions in the club. But for Mitch, in 2 seasons in a row, to sack the coach in October and in November, it's something that didn't happen since 2010 to 2011. And except Slavisha that wanted to go from himself. Shota? Okay, Shota, I think Shota was in January, but okay. So how did it happen? What do you think led to those coaches, Donis and Patrick Van Hoeven, to not succeed in Maccabi Tel Aviv? And how can you prevent something like that from happening again in the next season?
So, football is a tough business, yes? I mean, it's very, in some aspects, unique to any other business. It's clear that for a coach, results are important. It's a results-oriented business. It's important for the for the whole club to work, that especially for a club like Maccabi, our expectations are high, and you cannot predict. You can do as much as you can in terms of your homework and when you make these decisions, but you cannot predict how things work out. I can't say it was, let's say, the last 2 years. Again, I'm repeating because for me it's a fact. It's been an unusual situation in terms of not being able, let's say, for us to travel because of restrictions and to interact in the normal way. So, you know, this has a bearing also. This is not how we've worked in the past, and this is, I hope, touch wood, things improve, and this is not the way that we will work in the future. But it's not an excuse. It's something just to keep in mind. You know, we make decisions based on a process that we think is quite thorough, that allows us to sort of evaluate the options that we have, and ultimately we make a decision. When you make a decision, you have to support that decision and do your best to make it work. That's clear. But again, unfortunately, when that happens, that the results do not go in the right way, or that the feeling is that the results cannot in the future go in the right way for whatever reason, it's necessary to make a change. It's just, again, it's partly to do with you know, the expectations of this club, and it's not a thing that we like to do, and it's not a thing that Mitch takes lightly. You know, he's a very thoughtful person when he makes his decisions, and none of these decisions are easy decisions, but ultimately a decision has to be made, whether to keep someone or not keep someone. And so, yes, it's certainly, let's say, not ideal, and we don't like it, but we made changes, and I think, you know, when the changes were made in these situations, there was an effect, there was an improvement, but it's for sure, it's something that we have to take into mind, that for us to do our jobs properly, to evaluate, let's say, you know, what possibly went wrong if those decisions were made, or what did we do wrong during the particular season, to try and minimize the risk, I say, because you can never avoid risks. It's like anything that you do. You know, it's the same situation with a player. You try and minimize the risk, that you're hoping it's going to be the right decision because of scientific reasons and data. And that's, again, you know, it's a fair question, but, you know, this is something for us to take on board and evaluate our moves in the future. Hi.
Sorry. I would like to hear from you how you handle with the financial situation in the coronavirus. It was a long time, 1.5 years, that you handled with this situation. We know that you had big losses, so I would like to hear about it.
Look, it was a, you know, a terrible situation globally for many businesses, and of course it affected Maccabi Tel Aviv. You know, it was a situation where, you know, we sold season tickets for the year in Bloomfield. We were happy to be back, and then this happened. Fans were not allowed to come to games. You know, it has a huge financial impact. I must say, you know, we found the support of many people, for sure, our fans, our sponsors. You know, they stepped up. A lot of people stepped up to understand the situation and to help us. But there's nothing that you can do really to, you know, change things. You know, you have sources of revenue, and you have expenses. And, you know, I'm grateful also, I mustn't forget, which is key, our staff, our players. Everyone stepped up when the club needed them to. And this is appreciated and it's remembered.
But we can say that, you know, the money that you achieve from Europe save you?
For sure it helps, yes, absolutely. I mean, you know, I believe in all clubs in Israel, the biggest source of revenue is the European competitions prize money. So irrespective of anything, you know, it's important, especially for, you know, the bigger clubs. It's very, very important. So yes, it did help for sure that we were actually, you know, doing relatively well in the European competitions during that period.
Jack, what are the targets of Maccabi Tel Aviv until the end of the year? You did very well in the Conference League, but now it's over. You have the Cup, you have the Championship, you are 8 points behind Maccabi Haifa. Do you really think that taking the championship is a probability you can do it, or only the Cup?
So, firstly, with the Conference League, you know, I'm now speaking after the fact. You know, it's easy having seen the game. You know, we all had the feeling, in a way, we were disappointed, but we were proud to be disappointed because we were in a position where we saw we competed, you know, and as the coach said, you know, maybe we respected a little bit too much. But it's part of the growth of a developing club to have these experiences, and the players have these experiences. So you're right, we know we did well, we could have done better, and this is our view generally. You know, what can we do better? For this season, again, it's not, you know, our focus really is on every game, the next game. And what that means is, at the end of the day, the table will not lie. You know, we will do our job. We can't affect anything else. When you're 8 points ahead, it's not in your control. You know, you can do your part, but you know, you rely on other things happening. So we can't control those things. We will do what we can control, which is to try and win all our games. And what will happen? We hope that we will be in the Cup final. We hope to win the Cup for sure. I mean, that's Maccabi's expectation. There's never going to be a year that I will give you a different answer, that's not our expectation, our aspiration. And it is every year our expectation, our aspiration to win the championship. And as Barak said, you know, we are not happy. We are not happy where we are. We can, let's say, feel good that the direction now is going in the right way and that there is a different kind of momentum. But this is not, you know, for Maccabi to be in third place. It doesn't matter. It's not something that we're happy about. But generally, we will focus on our games. We will do what we can. And at the end of the day, we'll see what happens in the table.
אני אחזור רגע לברק. קודם כל היית חלק מקורס פרו-היסטורי, שכל הבוגרים שלו יהיו מאמנים זמניים באיזשהו שלב. רוצה לשאול אותך לחזור טיפה לקיץ. אם אתה יכול להסביר, כמעט עבר הרבה זמן, נסגרו שני החלונות, על ההחלטות שהתקבלו לגבי שחקנים שלא המשיכו, ובכלל מה הייתה המחשבה מאחורי בניית הסגל? זאת אומרת, מה הנחה אתכם? האם זה היה רצון לבנות מחדש את הסגל של מכבי תל אביב? כל מיני דברים שאנחנו לא הבנו בזמנו, ואולי גם עכשיו על הדשא טיפה רואים את זה, שהמאמן הולך על שיטה שהיא מסתמכת הרבה על הקשרים שלו, פחות על הכנפיים. כל מיני החלטות שקיבלתם שאנחנו לא הצלחנו להבין כל כך, אם אתה יכול היום להסביר באמת מה היה הרעיון מאחורי כל זה.
תהיה קצת יותר ספציפי, כי השאלה שלך היא יכולה להתפזר להמון כיוונים. תהיה קצת יותר ספציפי על...
למה נפרדתם איתן טיבי ואיתי שכטר? זה ההתחלה של זה? האם נחמיאס וחלילה זה רכישות שהיו בעצם השקעה עתידית כחלק מבנייה מחודשת? ושחקני כנף, למה לא הבאתם? חוץ מקובס.
תראה, קודם כל, איתי ואיתן הם עשו פה שנים יפות ותרמו הרבה למועדון, אבל בסופו של דבר התקבלה ההחלטה שאנחנו ממשיכים הלאה. וזה היה מאוד פשוט. ברגע שהתקבלה ההחלטה, אז צירפנו שחקנים אחרים. זה נכון שהיה רענון מאוד מאוד גדול בסגל בתחילת העונה, אבל אנחנו באמת שלמים עם ההחלטות שלנו, ולפעמים צריך לרענן את הסגל ולהסתכל קצת יותר קדימה. אפשר פה להיכנס ולנתח כל העברה שעשינו מתחילת העונה, ואנחנו לא נסיים עם זה, כי בנינו את הקבוצה אמנם בתחילת השנה כשפטריק היה מאמן, וכשיש חילופי מאמנים גם לפעמים השיטות מתחלפות, אז לפעמים אותו מאמן לא משתמש באותם שחקנים, אבל זה דברים שבסופו של דבר קורים תוך כדי תנועה, ואנחנו צריכים להגיב בהתאם. עוד פעם, כרגע קבוצה יותר יציבה, למרות שעדיין אנחנו לא מרוצים מהמקום שאנחנו נמצאים בו. ממכבי תל אביב להיות במקום השלישי זה לא משהו שאנחנו מתכננים ולא מציבים לעצמנו כמטרות בתחילת העונה. מכבי תל אביב מועדון שצריך תמיד לשאוף לזכות בכל התארים. אנחנו נפיק את הלקחים שלנו מתחילת העונה. תראה, בסופו של דבר, ג'ק ציין את זה מקודם, אני באיזשהו תהליך שהתחלתי לפני 2 או 3, עוד בתקופת בן, ואני גם נכנס לתפקיד הזה ולומד, ותמיד לומד ומנסה להשתפר, ואנחנו נמשיך ביחד לעבוד קשה, כדי באמת שהקבוצה הזאת תחזור ולהתמודד על כל התארים. זאת המטרה בסופו של דבר.
You were the one who recommend to bring Vlad Ivic because you know him, and it was a big success after the 3 champions of Beersheva to bring a young coach, and he did it very well. I want to ask if you can commit that you, Mitch, you, Barak, everyone will do anything to bring back the champion next year. I believe that Maccabi Haifa will be this year champion, but to bring back like you did it after the 3 champions of Beersheva, that you are going to do anything to bring it back to the fans next year.
Anything is a bit too wide. Look, maybe I wasn't clear before. Our objective every season is to win the championship. And in the seasons that we don't, we have in the past, and we will in the future if it happens, analyze why it didn't happen. And we're not sleeping. We've never been sleeping. We're working all the time in all the different aspects of the club, in order to make sure that we are in the best possible position to achieve our goals. So we will, we try not to make decisions too quickly and, react on the moment, because that can also be dangerous. Sometimes you have to be quick, and we understand that. But on the whole, we will analyze the situation, and as we continue to analyze it on a daily basis and a weekly basis, and we will see where we end up, why we ended up in that place, and then we will, of course, we will continue to take actions. But the actions are ongoing now. It's not. There's no delay. There's no, let's say, stopping the work that's going on in always analyzing the team and deciding what needs to be done in order for the club to be better. That's an ongoing process. And that's what we will do. So, yeah, the commitment is that, yes, we are determined that we put ourselves in the best possible position to win. And, we've always done that, and we always will. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's fine, as long as we recognize if there are mistakes, errors, and we try and correct them. Because, yes, mistakes are made. Every club, the biggest clubs in the world are never champions, every year. It just doesn't happen. So we're not panicking, but we don't like it. And we have to make sure that we do our best to make sure that this club meets the expectations.
I have a... I just have a follow-up question for what you just said. Is this the reason that you are here now in the mid-season, in order to build also for the summer? And the second one, because of what you said, there is a theory that Mitch doesn't allow to buy players before you commit European competition group stage. Is that something that is a reality, or just a theory that stuck here since the fair play from Jordi quotes in 2016?
I never heard it, so news to me. What you on your last point? So.
The explanation for why things are getting delayed, so that sometimes we need to see European competition in order.
Right. I don't want to. For me, I've never seen that, and never told that, and we never behaved that way. So, for me, it's not founded in reality. Thankfully, the club doesn't have to wait for me to come to work. I speak with Barak every day. Mitch is involved, either directly or through me in getting updates. So sometimes it does help being here. Of course, it helps just to facilitate, to make things easier, and I will, do my best to be able to come more often when it's possible. But generally, we speak every day, no exaggeration, and we're always, Barak's job is to push, to make things happen, and to give his opinion and recommendation and his reports, which he's doing, and developing his departments, which he's doing. So it's not necessary, for me to be here. I came because it was an opportunity to come during this window. There was opportunities to be, I had met the coach through Zoom, so it's nothing like actually speaking him directly. So that's actually very valuable. So yeah, that's really the reason why it's happened now.
I have one question for both of you. I make it short. Sometimes when players leave, good players like Jonathan Cohen, like Omer Atzili, like Dor Peretz, it's very hard to bring other players that are in the same level like those that left. And I think maybe this is some of the situation that was in Maccabi Tel Aviv in the last year and a half, because the players that left were the best player in the league, maybe in Israel, and it's hard to bring a replacement in the same level. What are you doing for this summer, maybe to make this squad even better than it is now? Because I think if you don't bring players like in this level, it will be very hard for you to take the championship.
Yeah, first of all, each case is unique. You can't put them all together. There are circumstances where a contract will end and a player doesn't want to renew for whatever reason. There are other situations which lead to... Okay. Yes. So, but there are a lot of different reasons why players go. And in many cases, it's out of your control to some degree. So, of course, it's important to bring the strongest players. But, at least it's in my opinion that a good player, whether he's with us or in another team, and changes team, is not sometimes not the same player. It's a different environment, different situation. So we, of course, need to bring players that we believe will be the level that we need, like you said, on the highest possible level that will come to us, and make them work. And it's also important that you keep developing players, that players come with a desire that they're not the finished article. They are something that there's a hunger inside of them that they want to drive themselves forward and affect the people around them to keep pushing us forward. So you're absolutely correct that we need to make sure that we bring the best Israeli players, that we make good choices for foreign players. And again, this is not a risk-free business. We just have to make sure that we do our work correctly, and that we have the people in the club who at the moment we feel we do have those people who cooperate and who give the energy and the right environment to help players raise their level. And all of these ingredients are necessary in order for us to reach the levels that you mentioned. So, yeah, I don't disagree with you.
אין ספק שבטח בשנתיים או 3 שנים האחרונות שחקנים מאוד משמעותיים עזבו אותנו, אבל בסופו של דבר המטרה היא באמת להחזיר את השחקנים הישראלים ולצרף את השחקנים הישראלים הטובים ביותר. מצד אחד, ומצד שני גם לפתח שחקנים במחלקת הנוער, כדי שישתלבו בקבוצה הבוגרת, כי מיץ' משקיע המון במחלקת הנוער, ואנחנו רוצים לראות ולקצור את הפירות בקבוצה הבוגרת. זה משהו שגם אנחנו נשים עליו דגש בשנים הקרובות, משהו חשוב מאוד. אבל המטרה היא באמת ששחקנים הישראלים הטובים ביותר יהיו במכבי תל אביב.
היי ברק, שתי שאלות אליך. שאלה ראשונה, האם בתקופה הלא טובה בתחילת השנה של מכבי תל אביב, כשהיה את כל החלפת מאמנים ואתה ירדת גם לקווים, האם בגלל שזו השנה הראשונה שלך כראש המערכת בצוות המקצועי, האם היה לך חשש גם כן שהאחריות בסוף תיפול עליך ואולי יעשו, אתה יודע, שינוי גם לגביך? זה אחד.
תראה, בסופו של דבר אני מבין את ההשלכות של התפקיד הזה, זה תפקיד מאוד מאוד קשה עם המון אחריות, והתפקיד הזה זה לא להתעורר בספטמבר ולהתעורר בינואר בחלון העברות ולנסות לעשות כמה מהלכים כדי להביא שחקנים. העבודה היא עבודה יומיומית מאוד קשה, שמחולקת לכמה מחלקות שאני אחראי עליהן, מחלקת הנוער, סקאוטינג דיפרטמנט, כל עניין הרפואי, פיזיולוגי, וזו אחריות מאוד מאוד גדולה. אין ספק שיש בתפקיד הזה הרבה מאוד לחץ, ובטח שהדברים לא עובדים בצורה טובה במועדון כל כך גדול כמו מכבי תל אביב, שהציפיות שלו הן ציפיות מאוד מאוד גבוהות, שכל שנה לרוץ לאליפות ולהשיג את כל התארים, הציפיות הן גבוהות, ובסופו של דבר שדברים לא הולכים. כמובן שהאחריות גם, בטח בראש ובראשונה, נמצאת על מישהו אחראי על חלק גדול מההחלטות המקצועיות, אבל חשש של אם זה יבוא אליי או לא יבוא אליי, אני בסופו של דבר מנסה לעשות את העבודה שלי בצורה הטובה ביותר. בסופו של דבר אני אשפט על ידי הבעלים.
השאלה השנייה היא ההחתמה של יובנוביץ', אחת ההחתמות היקרות בתולדות המועדון. האם זו הצהרת כוונות שאתם חזרתם למרקט בגדול, כי בגלל כל מה שהיה עם הפייר פליי, אז...
תראה, גם בתחילת השנה החתמנו שחקנים לא הרבה יותר נמוכים, במחירים יותר נמוכים, עובדתית, אבל אני חושב שההחתמה של יובנוביץ' היא, לא יקרא לזה הצהרת כוונות, כי בסופו של דבר אנחנו מחפשים שחקנים, וכשאנחנו מוצאים שחקן טוב, בטח שגם המאמן מכיר אותו טוב מאוד, אנחנו מקבלים גם את הפידבק מהמאמן, זה משהו שעוזר, אבל אני לא חושב שהחתמה של שחקן כזה או אחר היא הצהרת כוונות. מכבי תל אביב תמיד שואפת להיות בצמרת, ואני לא חושב שבגלל החתמה של שחקן כזה או אחר, אז זה נקרא הצהרת כוונות. אבל מכבי תל אביב תמיד תשאף ותמיד תיבנה כדי לרוץ ולזכות באליפות.
Two things please do, Jack. First, I want to ask another short thing about Mladen Krstajic. Don't you afraid that he will get an offer in the next 2 months? We know, and he said last week that he has one offer, but don't you afraid that maybe he will leave, or maybe you have sort of agreement with him that if he gets an offer, he can come to you and say, okay, guys, I have something. If you want, let's put the option for next 2 years.
Yeah. Look, let's say we have a good agreement in place that the club feels protected. We're not worried about that.
With him?
Yeah, with the coach, of course.
Okay. It's something that you can tell a little bit about
We
it?
don't really discuss details of contracts, but we're happy with the situation. And as I said, you know, we sat with the coach at the very beginning when we were discussing things. We came to a very clear agreement. So I don't think there's, for us, a danger of that. But, you know, even if you have a contract with a coach, it's happened in the past that you have an agreement and a so-called better, bigger club comes and makes an offer. The contract's the contract that, yes, maybe there's, you know, let's say compensation to go. But, you know, we have an agreement. We're happy with the agreement. It protects the club. The coach is happy with the agreement. So we'll wait at the right time and we will discuss with him first of all, face to face, and analyze, and we'll make our decision.
You said you analyzed things that went wrong in the last 2 years. Can you say that one of the goal of you and Barak will be to go to the training camp in July with almost 100% of the players, with a coach, like we saw, Patrick was when you didn't sign with Donis. This year you are going to do this. This is one of the things that you want to change?
Look, it's difficult to say that we want to change because this is the goal, was always the goal from day one. And as I said, some things are in your control and some things are not in your control. So, we feel for sure the target is to go with your coach and with a complete team as possible. But we know the realities of Israel and the transfer market here, especially to do with foreign players. With all the goodwill in the world, with all the hard work that's possible, it is very, very difficult to get agreements early in the transfer window for new foreign players. It's a fact. It's not statistics. It's not just my opinion. So we have to be prepared and to live with that scenario. And again, it's happened. You can analyze, we've been dealing together for many years since, early, 2010, 2011. You can see which players, foreign players I'm talking about, came at which month. And, sometimes they come late and it's after, well after the training camp. So it's just one of those things that we have to be prepared with. It shouldn't be an excuse for us. We should be able to incorporate and involve a new player that comes later in the year, just before the end of the transfer window. We should be ready to deal with that situation. But of course, in an ideal world, in the best possible scenario, yes, you want to be at training camp with your as much of your team as complete as possible.
ברק, אני אחזור לברק. נגעת בתשובה שלך על כך שאתה גם אחראי על מחלקת הנוער באיזשהו מקום. אנחנו מסתכלים על מכבי תל אביב היום, על הקבוצה, על ההרכב שרוב הזמן רץ. יש לך את דניאל פרץ, שהוא מהדור החדש למעשה, שעלה ותפס מקום של קבע, ובצדק, הוא הוכיח את זה. אבל בדרך כמה חבר'ה אולי מתפספסים או התפספסו כבר. ואם מסתכלים על ביתר תל אביב, בת ים, שיש לך שם מושאלים רבים, הם בדרך הבטוחה לרדת ליגה, לליגה א'. שאלה שלי היא, האם פרויקט הנוער שלכם לא צריך לקבל איזשהו רענון, כדי שלא תפסידו שחקני בוגרים, כמו שאולי אתם מפסידים היום את אילון אלמוג, לצורך העניין?
עוד פעם, אמרתי שאין ספק הפוקוס שלנו במחלקת הנוער הוא גדול, וכמו שאמרנו, מיץ' משקיע המון במחלקת הנוער, וחלק מהציפיות שלו כבעלים זה שיהיו שחקנים ממחלקת הנוער, שיגדלו במחלקת הנוער, בסופו של דבר ישחקו גם בקבוצה הבוגרת. ואני חושב שיש כמה כאלה במחלקת הנוער כרגע, שמשחקים, הם ב-under 16, 17, 18, 19. שחקנים מאוד מאוד מוכשרים, שיש להם עתיד בקבוצה הבוגרת של מכבי תל אביב. ואני מקווה שחלק מהם יהיו בעתיד הקרוב.
לא מדאיג אותך שאתה רואה את ביתר תל אביב בדרך לליגה א' כרגע?
זה מאוד מדאיג.
שחקנים מאוד מוכשרים משנתון טוב. רויזמן, דור תורג'מן.
זה מאוד מדאיג. במיוחד שיש הרבה שחקנים שמושאלים לקבוצה אחת והם משחקים כבר כמה שנים ביחד, שהקבוצה לא נמצאת במצב טוב. השיתוף פעולה שלנו עם ליאור שכטר, הבעלים של הקבוצה, הוא שיתוף פעולה טוב. וחלק מהשיתוף פעולה הזה אנחנו ראינו בשנים האחרונות שהרבה שחקנים הגיעו לקבוצה הבוגרת. אני מקווה מאוד שבסופו של דבר יצליחו להישאר בליגה, כי זה חשוב, גם לשיתוף פעולה בינינו וגם לאותם שחקנים שמושאלים לשם לשחק בליגה השנייה, בליגה תחרותית, שיעזור להם להתפתח ובסופו של דבר להגיע לקבוצה הבוגרת. ואני מקווה שבסופו של דבר הם יצליחו להישאר בליגה.